Hold on. We're going to do it all together. Page 4, you will find the blessing to begin our evening. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Good job. Thank you all very much. You're welcome to be seated. Carefully. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. I'll move this out of your way. All right. I guess as far as I can go. For those who are outside in the camera. Page 5, you will find Shalom Aleichem as we join together, welcoming in Shabbat for the very first Shabbat of the month of May. And I don't know what else is going on May 1st. There's a couple of little things. But anyway, page 5, we join together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. We turn to page 11 where you will find the formal beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat, our service welcoming in Shabbat, and we join together at the top of the page with the 95th Psalm. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, nekad mafana b'todah. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, l'Adonai. We conclude the psalm over on page 12 by the arrow. Arba'im shana kuhut b'dor va'omar am to'el v'avheim v'heim lo yadun rachai asher nishbati v'apihi im yevon el menuchati. Page 14 by the arrow. We join together as we raise our spirits in celebration, in simcha, that it is indeed Shabbat. Page 14. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam, umilo, oh, Yihiram Hayam, Yihiram Hayam, Yihiram Hayam, Umilo Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Ya'alo sarai v'chol asher bo az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek v'yami b'emunato. You kindly turn it forward in your seat or to page 19. To the far left side, on the bottom of the page, you'll find our tefillah, our prayer from Tel Aviv, from a Tel Aviv prayer community, reminding us of the priority of Shabbat and certainly linking us to our brothers and sisters in Israel. So let's join together in the selection, bottom of the page. We read together. Blessed is your coming, Shabbat. Blessed is your coming. Bring with you rest and peace following a tumultuous week filled with so many demands. Bring the space in which, with others and alone, we can shape an infinity of dreams. Bring the hour of forgiveness in which to hear the pounding heart of another human being. Blessed is your coming, Shabbat. Blessed is your Creator. Blessed is your light. You'll turn to the next page. By the arrow, we join together the last few lines of Psalm 99. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Page 21, you will find Psalm 29, our psalm that reminds us of Kol Adonai, the voice of God in the world that we seek to hear. And it's hard to do that during the tumultuous weeks that we have, the week. No matter which week it is, we know it's a busy one for us. Shabbat gives us that time to listen to the world around us, to hear the voice of God in the world around us. And that's really the theme of this wonderful psalm. So page 21 on the far left, let's read the English and the Hebrew and English responsively, and then we'll sing the psalm together. Far left side on 21. Kol Adonai ol hamayim. The voice of God opens the gates of compassion and love. Kol Adonai ba'koach. The voice of God opens the gates of courage. Kol Adonai behadar. The voice of God opens the gates of shining truth. Kol Adonai shover arazim. The voice of God opens the gates of endurance and patience. Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh. The voice of God opens the gates of splendorous beauty. Kol Adonai yachil midbar. The voice of God opens the gates of deepest connection. Kol Adonai yacholel ayalot. The voice of God opens the gates of presence. It's a beautiful reading, reminds us again of the meaning of the psalm really for us. Page 21 on the right side, if you're able to, I'll ask for you to rise as traditionally we stand for this psalm as we join together. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al Mayim Rabim. Kol Adonai Bakoach. Kol Adonai Behadar. Kol Adonai Shover Arazim. Vayishaber Adonai et Arze Halavanon. Vayarkidem Kemo Egel. Levanon Vesiryon Kimoven Re'emim Kol Adonai Chotzef Lavotesh Kol Adonai Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Yecholel Ayalot Vayechesof Yeharot Uvechalo Kulo Omer Kavod Adonai Lamalbu Yashav Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain Adonai Yevarech et Amo Vashalom. You're welcome to be seated. Page 23, as always, you will find L'Chadodi, our hymn welcoming in Shabbat as the bride or queen into our midst. Maybe we should sing this out in the back room, because that's what the ambiance is back there of a real special occasion. We'll bring that ambiance in here today as we welcome in the Sabbath bride to our midst. Page 23, we'll make it easy tonight. We'll do the first two verses. We'll do the middle verse on 24. We'll just keep it simple. And the last two verses on 25. And when we get to that last verse, I'll give you the signal. And you'll see in the book, we rise as we face the door, as the mystics continue to do and did in the past in Israel, as they would go out to the fields and literally welcome in the Sabbath into their midst. So page 23, first two, middle, and then last two on the last page. Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha Ki mekor habaracha Mehirosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela 24 in the middle Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori uri shirda beiri kevod Adonai Allah yechnigla lechad dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela 25 Yaminu semol tifrotzi V'et Adonai ta'aritzi al yarish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha Dodi lecha dodi likrat kala. We rise, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, and face the door. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha u'v'tzahala. Tochemune am sigula, bawichala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. You are welcome to be seated. We turn to page 27 where you will find the Psalm for Shabbat. We join together. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodod ladonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, alei hasor v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor, mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodod ladonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai b'fol v'chama seidecha ne'ma gam b'masach. We join together page 28 by the arrow. Tzadika tamar yifrach ke'erez balevanon yiskeh shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun b'seva deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai Tzuri, tzuri, velo havlatabo. 29. Adonai malak Ehud lavesh lavesh Adonai osita zahar afti kontevel balti mot. Let's read together in the English on page 29 at the top in the big print. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves. Above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean, Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Eidotecha nemnu le'od lehavetcha na'ava kodesh Adonai le'orech yamim. Those reciting Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, that you'll find our first of two over on page 30. Those reciting are welcome to rise and join with me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute, V'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olame omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha p'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You are welcome to be seated. I'll do a word of Torah before we go into our evening service tonight, and talk a little bit about the Parsha of Emor. Keep losing my little note here. Hold on. We'll talk a little bit about the Parsha of Emor, which opens with a series of restrictions that are placed upon the Kohen as they make the offerings to God on behalf of the community. So last week we talked really laws that were pertaining to everybody specifically about how we bring holiness into our lives. This week we kind of shift in as we move forward in the book of Leviticus to instructions specific for the Kohen in particular, or the leaders, right? So the understanding is that the Kohen may not go near death, something that's been dead, unless it's an immediate family member, later on as tradition goes, must only marry a woman who has never been married before, and must be, in essence, physically perfect. And this is from Vayikra, this is from Leviticus 22:18. It reads, I'll translate for you, whoever has a mum, a blemish, shall not make the offering. A blind man, or one who is lame, or one who has any deformity or limbs of unequal length, or a man who has broken a foot or a broken hand, or any man who has a hunchback, or is put it in older terms, a dwarf, right? Someone who is not a usual height, or a man whose eyes are not coordinated together. That's all in the Torah. It's all describing that's a Torah side, somebody whose eyes don't work right. All of that's in this parasha, towards the beginning of this parasha this week, right? And it is describing what the priest cannot be, right? If there are any of these disabilities or deformities or anything different, right? They're not allowed to offer up the offerings, right? In particular, I will continue. No woman may participate, that's for sure out of this list, right? And no man may participate if he is not physically perfect, without a mum, without a blemish, right? And it really, if you think about it, it's truly a wonder that anyone was left to make a sacrifice at all. Think about it, right? Who really has nothing that they have something about, right? It's very, very rare. Well, these passages, in all seriousness, are disturbing. Right? They're disturbing to read because what does it do? It seems to dehumanize anyone with physical or even emotional or learning challenges as we might interpret it today, right? And the rabbis of the Talmud in the early centuries, despite the priesthood no longer existing, they still placed certain restrictions upon ritual participation. So even though the Kohanim weren't even around anymore by their time, they still placed these restrictions and somewhat on the people. Move forward into the medieval times, medieval commentators, they note, in part, that the traits which disqualify a Kohen from performing the duties that they were to perform are the same traits, actually, that also disqualify an animal from being that offering. In other words, the people have to be blemish-free, but so also does the offering. So also does the animal that's being offered. Both the sacrifice and the one performing the sacrifice could not have any defect, not have this mum, as they call it, right? And the commentators from medieval times point out that both priest and animal are not representing human ideals and values, but are simply instruments in the temple ritual, right? So clearly, some of them were bothered with this instruction, and they try to point out that this is not saying anything about the person offering it, right? It's really not representing some larger value or ideal about how we treat that person. It's more just saying it's a function of who can offer and who cannot. Nevertheless, and there's lots more we could say about that, but I'll keep going. Nevertheless, their perspective points to the desire, really, that only socially normative bodies, if you will, right, can serve as representatives of the people before God. You have to have some sense of perfection, whatever that is. Now, in contradiction to Leviticus 21, stands Genesis 1:27. For every verse, right, I'm going to pull something else to kind of counter it and to help us to look at it differently, not just to counter it as an opposite, but to help us to look at it in framing how we understand it. Because in Genesis 1:27, what does it say? We are all made in the image of God. Real simple. We know that one very well. And this text from Genesis, in essence, comes to rescue our moral sensitivities. And perhaps, I think, gives us license to kind of look at this text in Leviticus and kind of shirk it off, right? Well, we have a better verse. We have one that applies to our lives today. We'll just kind of put off to the side Leviticus. Whatever our ancestors did with it, okay, we can, let's put it off to the side. Times have changed. We don't judge people like that anymore. We don't set impossible standards. We don't devalue others today. We'll leave it at that. All sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, well, in November, I attended a gathering of women rabbis celebrating the 40th anniversary of women being ordained as rabbis in our conservative movement. And there I met Lauren Tuchman, and I've seen her online. I knew about her, but I had never met her in person. She is the first blind woman to be ordained as a rabbi in our movement. And it was amazing, by the way, just parenthetical note, to see so many of her classmates came to this Kala, this week that we were together to celebrate. And, it was amazing. They were all like, I'll help you, I'll help you. They had such an endearment for Lauren, that as friends, as classmates, and they knew her needs, and they were there to support her. And it was quite a beautiful thing for those of us who had not met her before. So there I had a chance to see and see her in real life in person, not through a screen. And she points out quite beautifully that it is often unintentional and certainly subconscious that we might make judgments, that we still place immense barriers in the way of so many people who have such enriching Torah to teach due to our kind of collective inability to get over many of our own ingrained prejudices, or just our lack of awareness even, right? Not just ingrained prejudice, but just a lack of really understanding. And I'll give you another vignette very quickly. We had a church group here. Actually, it was a school group, not a church group. It was a group from Furman a couple weeks ago. And one of those students was blind, also had a cane, right? And that was last week. It was last week, right? Well, he came on Saturday also, so she was here Friday night, I believe. And I spent some time with him up on the Bima, and I brought the Torah out. And, it was an awareness for me to becoming aware that, when I'm talking about the columns and what the Torah looks like, and I'm trying to show them all, right, so they can see it visually, she couldn't see that visually. I had to describe it, I had to find the words to describe it in a different way. I had to make sure she was front and center to be able to not just see, but to touch what the parchment felt like. I always you can touch the parchment, not the words themselves. But in essence, nothing I could do would help her to actually be able to see the words and to see the columns and to be able to be there. I had to describe it so she could imagine what it did look like. And similarly, Rabbi Tuchman, can you imagine her going through rabbinical school, right? Having to either do orally or through Braille. There's so many texts, the many things that she has to do in our time today as a rabbi. And so she points out again that it is easy to claim that individuals with disabilities are no longer impacted by the instructions found in our Torah reading today. But with her firsthand knowledge, I think she reminds us that the text is still relevant to our current society. How do we understand it? Well, Leviticus begs us to ask
the hard questions that we still need to ask in our society, and ask about whether we truly value the divine spark in each of us and how we are doing that, to try to think about what ways are we doing that. Do we still seek perfection in those of us who lead us? Gosh, I hope not, because I am not one who is perfect. Do we call out those who have learning challenges or who think differently? Do we silence those who are different, either explicitly, maybe subtly, or even unconsciously? How might we do that sometimes? In all aspects of life, not just here in our building. But for all of our accomplishments, really, do we still place barriers that keep others from participating fully in Jewish life and in human life in general? It's a good question, right? So how appropriate it is that we study this Torah portion this Shabbat as we prepare for our wonderful Night on Broadway event this Sunday. So I'm glad you all are here, those of you who have been preparing so much, because as you may have seen as you walked in, trucks were still out here, things getting set up, right? The proceeds from this special event will go in part toward helping our building to be more ADA compliant. So if a student, Jewish or not Jewish, walks in, we might be able to hand them a Braille prayer book with Braille, or to be able to have better sound, or to be able to certainly get up on our bima, or more even better, bring our bima down in some way, right? Our Torah down to our community. We recognize the responsibility we have as a congregation to ask these important questions and to do what we can and must do, really, to make Jewish life more accessible for those in need, whatever those things may be. We can't meet everyone's needs. We can try, but the first step, of course, is to recognize that the need is there, and then to certainly not brush it aside, but to respond. And I think that's the brilliance of the text that we study this week. It reminds us again, we may no longer have Kohanim. We may say, what does it matter? But the questions and the details that we find raise us up to remind ourselves that we are not where we would, should, and could be, and that even here in our building, we have a lot of work that we can do. And this program on Sunday will help us do that, certainly. So I pray that we continue the process of bringing down the obstacles that keep all of us from fully experiencing Judaism and experiencing our community together. And may our thoughts and our actions always seek to live up to the ideal. And the ideal, of course, that is each of us is created in the image of God and nothing less. And I hope to that you will say, Amen. Is there a Braille Torah? I don't know. I believe there is an actual Torah scroll. I don't know. I believe there is. I have not seen one, but I believe there is one that you can if you're reading. My guess would be, I'm not sure if there is a Braille Torah per se. My guess is, I do know that there are Chumashim. There are, and what you would do is have someone point in the Torah, most likely, while the reader, who might be blind, can read using the Chumash. So that would be probably the convention that would be needed, but the fact of having that Chumash that would be able to be Braille would allow someone like Rabbi Tuchman or anyone to be able to actually access the words of Torah from the scroll. It's quite amazing. So, and my guess is there are also other ways with that, and there could be just certainly with hand to be able to follow. But those are some of the questions you're asking, a kind of question that we need to continue to ask. So thank you for raising it. But I hope you'll think about this as we go through Shabbat. Not everything in our Torah is so easy and clean and feel good. This is among other passages in our Torah that challenge our morality, challenge our sense of understanding of the world around us for our ancestors, but certainly for now. And our tradition calls us, really the upshot is our tradition calls us to continue to ask the questions, to challenge ourselves, not just to simply throw it away, but what meaning can it be for us? And I think it's a clarion call to do exactly what we are doing and trying to make ourselves more accessible and open to all in our community the best way we can. So with that, we're going to go into the evening service, and part of the reason I always say if you're able to, because I don't presume everybody can stand comfortably or needs to stand comfortably. If they need to sit, it gives you license to do that. We want to make people feel comfortable. That's one small example, even just of how the language we use to feel a little more inclusive. So page 39A, if you're able to ask your to rise, and if not, you are welcome to remain seated. Page 39A. We join together. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach. HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We read together the English of our first bracha of creation, the left side of the page, bottom of 39a. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umavir yom umehevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai Tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. We join together, page 40, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amchavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachveinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla, v'yavachal tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem b'vamachut le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam le'ot al yadecha, ve'hayu letotafot bein eitnecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. We join together in the English 41. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. We turn over to page 44, Malchut Torah, leading up to Milchamocha, as we sing together in celebration of moving from slavery to freedom. 44. U'malchuta b'ratzon kilu aleihem, Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael lachanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo seifele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe ze'eli anu v'yamru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fadad Adonai Yaakov u'yalo chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. Page 45, you'll find Hashkivenu, our prayer asking for shalom as we end our day and begin a new day together. Let's read together on the left side of the page in the English, our Hashkivenu prayer. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. U'shmor tzeiteinu u'vo'einu l'chayim u'l'shalom yatav yad olam, u'fros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael v'yal Yerushalayim. Page 46, once again, we rise as we join together in Vishamru, as we remind ourselves of our connection to God through the observance of Shabbat as a sign of that love. Page 46. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael eta Shabbat la'asot eta Shabbat Dorotam berito lam vishamru v'nei Yisrael eta Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat לדורותם בריתו lam בהני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש
Shabbat vayinafash b'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. We remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish 46. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba v'yamad yivrach yidutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala ubizman kariv imeru amen. Yehishmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olam me'olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudisha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'meru amen. You'll find the silent Amidah this evening beginning on page 47. Continuing through page 52, as always, feel free to add your own personal thoughts to the words on the page, and when you're through, you're welcome to be seated. Page 47.
We're on the very bottom of page 52. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. You'll find Kaddish Shalom over on page 54. Yitgadal v'yitkadosh shemei Rabba v'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon v'mechon uv'chayerecho v'Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olal me'almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha Barichu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram yama v'imeru amen. Titgal bal saloton uvoton dechol Yisrael kol dama v'hona v'shamaya v'imeru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol Yoshvei tevel ve'imeru amen. You'll kindly turn towards the back of your Siddur on page 173, or to page 173. There you will find, as always, our Misha Berach for healing, as we add special prayers for those who are in need of healing, whether it be physical, emotional, spiritual, certainly healing for our wider world. So, as always, if you have a name to add to those that I have on our list, we'll go around and do that as we prepare to sing our Misha Berach and pray for those prayers of healing for those in need. So this evening we keep in our thoughts Elizabeth Alfieri, Victor Alfieri, Alan Berghauser, Bonnie Carlton, Natalie Kogan, Megan Contigno, Michelle Kramer, Barbara Feingold, Bruce Fine, Gittel Glasser, Suzanne Gott, Francis Haber, Nadine Hyman, Peter Jacobson, Joan Klepp, Mike Kadetich, Michael Kraus, Tom LeBlanc, Hannah Lippman, Joel Lowenstern, Rivka Markowitz, Marjorie Morstein, Susan Aller, Jana Prince, Bernie Rowe, Devorah Rubenstein, Genevieve Sanders, Harriet Siegel, Esther Wiener, Mary Beth White, and any names we add, which including Yisrael Bat Zipporah and Devorah Bat Avraham Vasara, Yitzchak ben Gittel, Shulamit Bat Gittel, Michal Bat Devorah, and Hanan HaKohen ben Sima. Any names to add? We keep all of them in our thoughts as we again look over to page 173, the far left side in the small print. Mi shebeirach avo
Mekor habaracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, mekor abaracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Refuah shlema to all in need. We turn back in our Siddur to page 63. We're in the time of counting of the Omer from the second night of Passover through to the beginning of Shavuot. Has anyone been outside? I know it's been raining a lot. Has anyone looked at the moon lately? All right, what did you see the other night? It's a full moon, exactly. It is exactly a full moon, which means we are in the middle of the Hebrew month. So if you want to try to figure out where we are in the counting, our Siddur does a really nice job because it gives us the date. So we are not in Nisan anymore. We are in ER. And so right as you turn on to page 68 in a second, to count the Omer, you can give a pretty good guess as to where we might be. It is not the 20th. It is not the 1st. It is not the 5th. But it is indeed the 15th. The 15th is the middle of the Hebrew month. So that's why you saw the big, beautiful moon. I bet we'll find it tonight. Since it's not cloudy, well, it's a little cloudy. But hopefully we can find it before the rain comes tomorrow. And maybe it'll clear out tomorrow night. But you'll look for the big, beautiful moon in the sky. It is the middle of the month. We are getting there towards our Shavuot holiday. So if you'll keep a hand on page 68, and we're the second one down, that's where we're going to count in just a moment, where it says the 15th of Iyar, and keep your hand there, but turn back to page 63. There you will find our formal blessing for counting each night as we move through this period of the Omer. So if you're able to, I'll kindly ask for you to stand as we read in the English at the top of 63, and we'll do the bracha and the Hebrew together, and then we will count the day as well. So page 63 at the top. I am about to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer as it is written in the Torah. You shall count from the eve of the second day of Pesach, when an Omer of grain is to be brought as an offering, 7 complete weeks. The day after the 7th week of your counting will make 50 days. In Hebrew, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav Vitzivanu Al Sfirat HaOmer. We turn on over to page 68, where it says on ER 15, the second one down, we read together, Hayom Shloshim Yom Shehem Arba'a Shavuot Ushnei Yamim La Omer. Today marks the 30th day. That's exactly 4 weeks and 2 days in the counting of the Omer. As we pause each night to count, please pause each day to make each day of life count for yourselves as well. That's the message for our counting during this time. With that, we will remain standing as I ask for some help from anyone who would like to help with the ark. If you'll kind to come up and open the Aron HaKodesh for us. Come on, Alice, we need you. Pia, you want to help? No? You can stay there if you want. All right. Well, if you want to come up, they can help you help them. Page 56, we remain standing for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol ha'teit gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adam shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu
ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו. כי המלכות שלך היא תמלך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו echad. As the Arona Kodesh is closed, you may be seated. Thank you very much, ladies. We appreciate it. If you'll turn on over to page 58, there you will find Kajush Shatom, our Mourner's Kaddish. And as we recite Mourner's Kaddish this evening, we extend our condolences to the extended Farber and Gold family as Susan mourns the death of her brother. I believe is it David? Michael? Is it Michael? Michael Nassau. So we certainly send our hugs of support to her as she moves through the Shiva period, and the funeral was yesterday. So we keep her in our thoughts, and I know she'd certainly appreciate a phone call from anybody certainly giving some hugs of support. We also acknowledge the yortzites that occurred today and in the week that is coming, including Dolly Lieber, Jack Peterson, Max Whitman, Sam Bykoff, Stanley Cedrin, William Grossman, Ann Clary, Diane Albeldas, Barry Rice, Gerald Greenfield, Leela Diner, Lillian Selby, Maurice Morstein, Abel Sowell, Helen Schneider, Max Zander, Nathan Blumberg, Abraham Scher, Howard David, Howard Levin, Rose Deglin, Nat Kaplan, Herbert Meyerowitz, and Lowell Jerome Kremer. Who's reciting Mourner's Kaddish, you'll find it over on page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam olomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha, b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
You may be seated. My Bema buddy this evening is, I got it. All right, unless Mindy wants to do it because she's tomorrow. Oh, I get to do it. Okay, so some quick announcements. Works for me, that's fine. So our quick announcements here. Thanks to an incredible response, our virtual box office for our May 3rd Broadway evening and silent auction night is officially closed. Sorry. We have no more seats, literally. So we can't wait to celebrate this special program with everyone who signed up. If you didn't, maybe that would be a push for next time you hear about something that sounds really fun and you want to go to it, you'll sign up quicker. But really, literally, we cannot fit another person in our room. But we appreciate everybody who donated, whether they are able to come or not. And those who donated silent auction. It's going to be a fun night. And so again, we will give you updates for those of you not attending in our bulletin, I have no doubt. Friday, May 15th, we're going to celebrate Yom Yerushalayim together with a yummy Israeli menu for Shabbat dinner. So we'll do a very short service, as we always do at 6, and then head in for those who are signed up for our, this one is a catered meal, not a potluck, so it'll be, you can look online to figure out the costs and to join us for a yummy Israeli-style menu. Finally, actually, there's a couple of other things. I'll give you this one first. That Sunday, May 31st, the Men's Club is hosting an outing to see the Greenville Drive baseball team. First pitch is at 3:05, and there's a picnic lunch. So be sure that you look online and sign up as well. There is also another holiday coming up. We are counting down to it, and that is the holiday of Shavuot. Begins Thursday night. And if you want to know how many days left of school there are, you can count the Omer, because the last day of the Omer is the last day of school. How about that for you? So Thursday night, the 21st, I believe it is our Shavuot program. And I have to thank Mike because he's here. I'm glad. I was looking back last year what we did. And if you remember, a year or two, we did our big program that we had. You talked about being the only Jew in the room. So this year, kind of piggybacking off that theme, I hope you'll join me. We'll get the information out in details. I think we said we'll start around 6:30 or 6:45. But we're gonna tackle the idea of Jewish identity, and we're gonna look at some sources, and we're gonna have a good discussion about what's Jewish identity all about? What is our personal, each of us, trying to help us identify how we identify Jewishly? In what ways are avenues that we do that? So hopefully you'll see some more information on that, but hopefully you'll be able to join us that Thursday night. And Friday night will be normal that night, but part of our holiday. And then Saturday morning we'll be having our Shavuot service with Shabbat, of course. There'll be Yizkor that morning as well, and we will read the 10 Commandments that day. So put on your calendars the 21st Erev Shavuot, as we will, I hope, tackle some really interesting ideas together. So keep an eye out for other communications and on the website for other things coming up, because it is still a busy month. The end of religious school is coming up. But there is school tomorrow on Sunday, May 3rd. There is Wednesday school this coming Wednesday as well at 5:15 as usual. My class, God Talk, you hopefully got the email. Those of you on my list, we will meet this Sunday, but at 10:45, because it's Ta'am Day, and we will meet here in the sanctuary, because as you know, it'll be a little bit busy in there. So we will meet here in the sanctuary. You won't let me in? Well, that's fine. We're going to be here, so don't worry about it. I almost said don't move tables, and then I figured, well, I don't need to do that because they're going to be like guarding back there. So it's fine. We'll be in here, but there is regular Sunday school as usual in here. We'll start in here as usual at 9 a.m., and we'll stay out of the other room. Fred Leffert, he'll find another place for intermediate Hebrew. I don't know where that's going to take place, downstairs most likely on Sunday. And as always, you can join him for Tuesday at 5:30 for Zoom. So lots going on. Don't forget. Finally, did I miss anybody at a late April birthday that I don't have here on my list real quickly? Is there anyone I might have missed from last week who didn't? Huh? I do have a biggie today. Before I get to the biggie today, I'm just checking. All right, so we have a biggie today. Somebody is turning another year. Unless you want me to say, can I say?
I love a guy who's proud of his age. Harold is celebrating his 94th birthday today. Thank you. That definitely deserves, and you know what? You get to pick a couple. I don't take the whole bag if you really want. That's a peanut butter one. You like those? Oh, good. You can have 3. Oh, very nice. I like that idea. That's very good. Please be sure to give Sue Lasser a phone call. Her birthday is tomorrow. Sarah Riddell is on the 4th. And in terms of anniversaries, Matt and Rhonda Farrell are celebrating theirs on the 3rd, so actually on Sunday, and they're sponsoring the Kiddush tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be there. They'll be here, and we'll be able to celebrate with them. Mindy, I'm going to get you now because I know I've tried to do this, and then I find out you're not around. Okay, so here, you want to, whatever, I'll let you have. Yeah, anything you want, but you only get one because you're not even close to where he's at, so he gets privilege. Next week, but I'll be here, don't worry. Thanks. I'll give myself candy next Friday. Yes, I hope you will join me next Friday as we have a regular Friday night service, and it's my birthday, so that's what we'll celebrate. We'll be in a good mood, and I will give myself some candy. How's that? I'll save my calories for the candy basket. But please do make sure you give, our bulletin will be out in the next couple days, but the birthdays are around, and we have a number of coming up. Wish Matthew a happy birthday. He's on the 11th, right? Yes. So keep that in mind. And again, we'll go through the month as we do, but I wanted to make sure that we acknowledged those birthdays today. And yeah, I think and Ed, we got you a couple weeks ago. Last week we got you. So yeah, we enjoyed those cupcakes. Thank you. All right, with that, we're going to conclude with a little bit of Bim Bam Shabbat Shalom. The only instructions I have for you is don't walk through the door here. Come around and in. You can see what the room looks like. Just please stay in the back here. Kids also, please stay back here. There's our usual Kiddush and Motzi we'll do together and enjoy. So thank you for being here and helping to make a minyan. Let's finish with a little P. I need your help for this one. P, I need your help. You can do it from help from there. You ready? You got to get your hands for this one, right? So you put your fists, right? We're going to do a little bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam, bim, bam, bim, bam, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.